here. Look at this. I updated, for those of you who have seen my lives before, I just updated my sign this morning and actually stenciled it. This was a chalkboard paint. Well, it's actually Fusion Mineral Paint, coal black. I've just painted a flat matte, but I stenciled my code on there so you could see it real easily. I restore stuff, all one word. That'll save you 10% on Essential Stencils website. Okay, so I'm going to be using, I'll show you what I'm using today as stencils. Some of you may have this set already. It's Fresh Cut Sunflowers is the name of the 6-pack mini. Now these are 6 by 6 inch stencil sets, and I think that there's only limited of these left in the shop. Maybe, I have a feeling it might be like 47 or something. So don't miss out. If you don't have these yet, grab a hold of these, and I will show you what's in the set. I've left one in here. I thought I pulled them all out. Okay, so we've got this one, Gorgeous Home, with the big bright sunflower right here, which can be used in and of itself on other stencils. So as we love to show you here, you can mix and match stencils and transfers to create some fun DIY projects. Here is You Are My Sunshine, so that's the second one in the set. We have Fresh Cut Sunflowers, very cute, sort of like a wreath with sunflowers at the bottom of it. Then there's this cute watering can with sunflowers popping out of it. I love them too, yes. They are cute, Robin. And I like the truck stencils. We've got a few truck stencils here at Essential Stencils. Sometimes you'll see these vintage trucks or antique trucks, whatever you'd like to call them, around with, these ones have got sunflowers in them. Sometimes around Valentine's Day you'll see the ones with hearts in them. There's St. Patrick's Day coming up, so there's a mini truck with clovers coming out of it. There's so many different truck stencils. What else have we got? I can't remember some of the other ones that we might have with, maybe there's a patriotic one with a truck. I can't remember. Some of you might remember. Kathy, I love anything sunflowers too, absolutely. And I love this one. It's around about almost the size of a face. It's pretty cute. So yeah, that takes up almost, it's probably about 5 by 5, that one, because the stencil itself is 6 by 6, so the flower, it's a good size sunflower there. And of course, we're going to be using our transfers here. Oops, and these are the sunflower transfers, and you'll find them on the website too. I've actually got all of the supplies that I'm using today in the description of the live. So when the live is finished, you can go have a look at the description in the post when we post the live, or you can, I don't know how you get to that on your phone right now, but it is all there. The links are right there, and you can use my code or just use any of those links. And Essential Stencil always pops the links in too to pin them to the top of the comments. So they'll be up there shortly. Oh yes, someone just said, I love the sunflowers. They always make me smile. Yes, Joyce, the rose transfer is also gorgeous. I love it, that one as well. All right, so I have pre-painted, we're going to be using some gift bags today, doing some fun things with those. And I've pre-painted just a background. It's just an off-white. It's probably more of a grayish tone. Dana, thank you for asking. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining. And I've just painted it in a mineral paint. It's just plywood, so just a thin plywood board. But these make great little, I've just cut them up into all sorts of sizes. I had another one here that's a larger size that I may or may not use in this live. But yes, I've got some of these, and that's what we're going to be working on today. And some of our sunflower transfers. So, and some paper bags. All right, so for our bags, I wanted to try something just for a bit of a swoosh in the background to make our transfers and stencils stand out. We're going to give that a go. So let's have a look at doing that to start with, and that can be drying while I do and work on other things. Yeah, there are lots of ideas on these lives. So glad you could join us. All right, I'm going to point the camera down here so you can see where I'm working. Here we go. That's right. Here's my code here in case you forget. I'm just going to use an ordinary brush and some paint. We're going to get our gift bag here. And just instead of having that plain background, which would also still look amazing with sunflowers or stencils on it, I thought it'd be great to put a bit of a background on it. So I'm going to try this colour Midnight Blue by Fusion. So you can use any acrylic water-based paint. I like the Fusion because it's kind of got that thickness to it. It is actually made for painting furniture, and I'm a retailer for it over here in Australia, so I have it on hand. But if you do like the Fusion mineral paint or you'd like to try it, I do have an affiliate link that I can give you, or if you ask in the comments, Essential Stencil might pop that in for me, or just let me know and I'll pop it in later. Okay, I'm just going to grab, there's a whole bunch in the lid here, but what I want to do, maybe I'll just do that. I want to get a bit on my brush, and I'm going to do a bit of a swoosh right across the bag like this, and I'm going to sort of taper it down here. Maybe I'll put a bit more on my brush, and we're just going to make a background, but it's kind of got those paint swooshy, got a bit of paint swoosh edges on it. Now I don't want to be going over the paint too much. This actually dries really quickly. And this is the colour Midnight Blue. It's a really dark navy, dark deep blue. Okay, so if I think I might be using my brush again later, I can always pop that into a plastic bag or a wet cloth. And that will stop it from drying out. Okay, so that's going to create a lovely background. I'll show you that in the light. You can probably see it has a bit of a shine, but that's because it's not dry yet. It actually does dry quite a matte finish. I do have a hairdryer here. I'll just pop that aside, and if it's not quite dry later, we will we'll hit it with the hairdryer in a minute. Okay, so I have a couple of sunflowers cut out because I thought I'd use those for this board here. We've got, where is it? This cute one here with the watering can and some sunflowers popping out of it. But instead of stenciling the sunflowers, I thought there's some in our transfer set that's around about the same size as these ones, and I've cut out a couple. I just need to get one more of this smaller size. So I kind of, this large one, it's larger than this here. Oh, let me show you a bit closer. It's larger than this one here, but I think it will still work. And I've got this one, which is probably around about that size here. And then if I get one more, I think it'll pop out and work great. So the idea is to use 3 of those sunflowers, but we want to do the watering can stencil first, and then we can have the flowers coming in front of that. Paint everywhere. Okay, let me just show you the transfer sheets. Most of the transfers come with a couple of sheets inside them, as well as you may get one of these transfer tools, which will help us to rub the transfer on. Now this one's called Sunflowers, and I know sometimes sunflowers, I don't know, is that, yeah, maybe you would use it with fall decorations, but I love it for summer. I think sunflowers are great year round, really. So these are the 2 that come in the sunflowers set, and Essential Stencil has put the links for these on the pinned comments up the top there. There's some really large ones here which would look great. Look, they're even larger, I think, than the gift bags that I've got. I didn't bring my ruler or tape measure here with me, but it's around about that same size actually. That would fit on one of those large paper bags. So I just wanted a small one for now, so I grabbed my scissors, and I wanted one around about the same size as this because I don't see any smaller. In fact, yes there is. I think that one's even smaller. These ones are even smaller than this one. No, maybe not. It's deceiving. All right, so all we need to do is cut out our sunflowers first. The transfers are just super easy to use, rub-on transfers, and so they come in a few parts. They've got the actual transfer that will be the middle of the whole of 3 parts to this transfer, and all you have to do is remove the rubber backing, place down your transfer, rub it on with the tool, and then peel it back to reveal your beautiful transfer. But first we are going to stencil on, and my stencil is actually a bit larger than my board here, so I'm going to not use painter's tape. I'm going to just hold it with my hand. Let's see, so a colour to use for our watering can, I might use that midnight blue. That would be a fun one to use. You could use a dark grey to make one of those galvanised tins or something like that, but I'm going to be using, we've got our stencil brushes which actually come in 4 different sizes. Let's see if I can find all the sizes. Oops, we've got a 3/4, no, I've got 2 of those. 1/2 inch, yes, here we go. 1/2 inch, 5/8, 3/4, and 7/8. There we go, that's the 4 sizes. They come in a pack, and they're also available at 10% off using my code I Restore Stuff. So pop that in your cart if you don't have any already. It is sometimes handy to have a couple of sets if you're using lots of different colors, because one of the things you don't want to do is use wet brushes. So if you're trying to rinse them out in between, in between using the brush, it can cause the brushes to be too wet, and that will dilute your paint, and then it'll be runny and it'll bleed all underneath your stencil. So that's what we don't want. So I'm tempted to, I could cover up these sunflowers, but because I'm putting these transfers over the top of them, I don't think it's going to matter too much if I accidentally get just a little bit of paint on my sunflowers here. Otherwise, if you really wanted to tape them off, you could use a little bit of painter's tape and try that. Okay, here we go. And this is just going to look gorgeous, I think. I just love sunflowers. I know lots of you in the comments are saying how much you love sunflowers too. Sherry is new here. Welcome, Sherry. There's a lot of new people here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so if you're new here, and I will go over some of the basics for stenciling, I've just dipped my brush. I'm using the 3/4 inch brush because I've got a fairly large space here. I've just dipped it in some paint, but we want to offload as much as we can from the brush and work it into the bristles by swirling it around like so. And we want to get it till it's almost dry, but because we've got a large space here, we want to still have a little bit to fill in that center part. So here I'm going, swirling it around to get all of the paint on here. And like I said, I'm not too concerned if I get some paint on the sunflowers, because I'm using the transfers to actually cover up those sunflowers. I do need a bit more because I can see that it's starting to run out, but it's better to go over it a second time rather than have too much on your brush to start with, because if we do have too much on our brush to start with, you get fuzzy edges on your stencils. So that's the reason I'm able to do that swirling and it's not kind of getting under all the stencil, is because there's hardly any on the brush. You are so welcome. Cheryl says brushes were a game changer for me. Yes, because most artist brushes, they're pointed, or, so you've got to have these ones are so good because they've got a nice flat surface, perfect for stippling, which some people prefer that method, or the swirling to have that straight up and down motion on your stencil. Okay, so lifting that up now, you can see I've got a little bit of those sunflowers on the edges of them. But there's nice crisp edges on the watering can there. So pop that over, the lid back on, and in case I'm going to use that again, I will put my brush I'll just put it in the same little plastic bag here that I've got my other brush in, which also has the navy midnight blue paint on it. So there's no problem there. Okay, so that's practically dry already. Because I used such a dry brush, it's almost dry. Someone I did see in the comments asked if the transfers can be used on any surface. They can be used on lots of different surfaces. Now, I don't know about every single surface, but I love to experiment with it. And so we've tried quite a few different surfaces here for stenciling on. Look, I'm just going to pop my stencil here beside me because I want to see, like, this sunflower comes out up large at the top, just kind of getting an idea. So we've used the stencils, the transfers on glass, on fabric, on boards that are plain wood, raw wood. We've got boards that are painted. Help me out in the comments. What other surfaces have you used the transfers on? Those of you who've used them lots of times before. And someone said they're glad I mentioned the wet brushes because, yeah, that's true. Okay, so let us know in the comments, what other surfaces have you tried them on? So this is going to be a perfect spot for this one, and I want the larger one sort of at the back because these are going to go over the top and sort of down over the watering can, so they're going to come out on the front. So this is going to be the first one. So here's what we do with our transfers. We remove the plastic backing, the white backing, it's like a paper backing, let's call that the paper backing from there, and then we've got the transfer here. So you just pop that down exactly where you want to place it. I'm going to put it up fairly high, right here. Once you've got it down, you probably don't want to move it because it does have a sticky backing surface, which is going to be what's actually sticking to the surface of your board. So once you've placed it down, that's where it should stay. Now I'm just going over the whole surface. You'll be able to see the plastic. There's a clear plastic on top of that. Can you see that clear plastic? So that is what we're rubbing right now. Then we're going to lift that clear plastic off. So once you've rubbed the whole surface, then we can sort of start to lift one edge of it. And we want to make sure that we've got it all, it's all coming off. So there we go. That one was quite easy, but I can see there's one little section right here. Let me see if I can lift that, where this leaf tip right here, that's a petal actually. Let me just lift it, show you. It's actually come off onto, I don't know if you can see that, it's come off onto the plastic. So I want to lay that back down exactly where it was and rub it a little bit more until it comes off. There we go, and it's just come off perfectly. And you just peel it back like that. Oh, there's another little bit, see, and I shouldn't have lifted it exactly. It's so small, but I'm going to put it down anyway. You probably would not even notice that it was missing. No, it's not going to go on. Sometimes I just use my thumbnail because it's quite strong to put that on. All right, so we're just going to smooth it down with your fingers, and then you can seal it after we've done all the others, but there's one. So you can layer the transfers on top of each other. Okay, here's the other two. So we're going to see they're sort of placed around about each side. So I'm going to try and cover over the top of where that stencil shows the sunflower on the stencil. And then I'll pop this one on that side. So let's have a look. So we remove the white paper backing, and again, placing it down, trying to cover up those little stenciled sunflower bits. And it's looking like as if it's just popping out over the edge of the watering can. So you can layer the transfers on top of each other. You can layer them on your stenciled pieces. And you can actually paint stencils over the top of the transfers, so you can put words right across a transfer. Some of the larger ones that would work nicely for. It's just the perfect pairing, transfers and the stencils. And the beautiful watercolour illustrations. Okay, so now I'm just starting to pick that up, looking for any little areas where it might have got stuck to the plastic, but it's all clean, and that's what you want. If there was any little bits left stuck to the clear plastic, you would want to make sure that they were completely off. Okay, so there's the second one coming in front of the first one. Cute. And here's the next one. Again, removing the white backing and popping out that sunflower right in front. Now, some of you, I know a lot of you actually are in the Stencil of the Month Club, and you will have just been receiving your February set, which is the spring flowers. And so there's so many beautiful floral designs out there, but we've also got a lot of floral designs on the essentialstencil.com site. So if you are looking for flowers this spring, just have a look there. There's actually a whole clearance section, and I saw a couple of spring signs in there with beautiful flowers on them. So have a look at that, and you can use my code IRestoreStuff even on the sale items. Get 10% off there. All right, here we go again, just removing the clear backing, and now we have a gorgeous watering can with 3 sunflower transfers popping out the top. And you could do something with the watering can. Any ideas for putting something down here? Maybe you could make it personalize it and put the letter of someone's name on here or their initials. You know, you could do that with a bit of one of the fine artist brushes that Essential Stencil has. These, we call them detail brushes, so you can use them for bridging your stencils, or you can use them for, you know, doing fine lettering if you wanted to do that. Or you could actually find one of the stencil letter in the lettering. You just look up letters on Essential Stencil's website and you'll find a whole bunch of alphabet letters that you can play with or purchase to use for your stencil projects. All right, so that's that one. Let's go back to our bag, and that's pretty dry. It's looking great. What else can I do? You Are My Sunshine. I love this one. Let's do this one. What a great gift bag for someone to have a You Are My Sunshine straight over the top of it. I feel like that just needs to be all yellow. We could do some green in with the leaf. I didn't really bring a bright green. I brought a dark green, and that's not going to really show on top of the dark navy blue color. Gibby says you use these on a painted rolling pin. Yes, I've seen that done. That is perfect for the sunflower transfers. Yeah, absolutely. Great idea. Okay, so I am going to maybe use a bit of painter's tape for this one to keep it in place, but because it's on a paper bag, I want to be really careful not to have too much tackiness on the tape. So I'm just going to use a small bit, and what I'm going to do is either pop it on my apron and get some of the tackiness off. It sort of collects a bit of lint from your apron. I just don't want it tearing my bag, so I'm going to place that right at the edge. I'll do that again, just a small piece. You can even put it on your hand. It might just make it a little less tacky, and put it really close, making sure I'm not covering any of the letters. I'm going to use this mustard colour from Fusion Mineral Paint. Hi Cindy, welcome. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Yes, do feel free to share the video with those, especially your friends who might love to do a DIY project. Now I'm going to use the smaller 1/2 inch brush for this one because we've got some smaller, finer letters going on here. So let's do that. And I'm just going to dip that into, again, the lid of the paint because I've just shook the bottle. And I want to offload that onto my piece of cardboard or brown paper, whatever you've got there, and work some of that paint into the bristles until it's almost dry. I think this will be great for the sunflower colours. And we do have some lumps and bumps because this handle runs through down here. So I'm going to be doing a mixture of pouncing and also swirling, but we've washed that, rubbed it onto the cardboard until it's almost dry. So we want to just make sure by putting your hand down over it, make sure that it's really going to, you know, because it's sort of raised a little bit because of the bumps. We want to make sure that it's really down flat. And again, putting your hand down on the other side of it. Yeah, some of you are also getting your spring bundles and the honeybee bundles at the moment. I think they're still shipping. So that was a really popular set recently. So I hope you're enjoying those. Jude says, never would have thought of doing a bag. And someone else just said that too, yeah. So many different options. I could also imagine that these, especially these 6x6 minis, they would fit perfectly on, you know how you can buy the gift cards that are a standard sort of size? They're perfect as long as it's around, the card is approximately 6 inches on, you know, on one way. Even the longest side, it might still fit other stencils on it. Some of these minis are perfect for gift cards as well, so you can really make a unique gift card. I'm going to need some more on my brush, but again, we want to offload that until it's almost dry because we don't want too much paint on the brush or it will bleed underneath the stencil and cause your edges to be uneven, not nice and crisp and clean. So we want nice crisp edges, and I'm just holding that down with my fingers on one side. I can see that the brush is sort of running out of paint a little bit, so we just add a bit more on. It's much better to go back and add more on than have too much on your brush. Diana, you did this too, and you made tags one year. Yeah, gift tags are perfect for these stencils, and we do also have, you know, mini stencils that are called mini tag sets, and so you'll find a lot of those are great for gift bags, cards, gift tags, also for the wooden tags. I think we've still got those in stock. The wooden tags are in stock. They're perfect for your tiered tray decor, things like that. So now I could go over some of this with another color as well. If I decided, let's do those leaves a little bit green, I could add some green. You know, this mustard color could be just used as a base. You can go back over it with whatever colors you'd like. Whoop, feel like I had a little bit too much on my brush then. So gift bags also, or even just a piece of cardboard, they're a great idea to practice your stenciling. So if you don't want to, you know, you've perfectly made a beautiful backing for your signboard and you're not quite sure about the stencil that you want to use on it yet, or you're not quite comfortable with your technique yet, I always suggest using a piece of cardboard or even the cardstock that comes in with your stencils. You can use the black cardstock. It's perfect for that. Okay, so I've got most of the colour down now. This is a mustard colour. It's called mustard actually by Fusion Mineral Paint. It comes in the little tiny sample pots like this as well, and it's perfect for getting the brushes into, the stencil brushes. So let's have a look how that turned out, and hopefully this painter's tape, yep, see, it wasn't too tacky. So, oh, it almost looks like a similar colour to the brown paper bag. So the mustard isn't standing out, you know, bright yellow. It's just kind of, it goes nicely together. But what I could do, I did bring some brighter yellow. I could make those sunflowers stand out even more with a brighter yellow. So I might do that in a little bit. Let me pop this into a cloth. Could even do those, add a little bit of white to those. So I'll work on that later. So far we've done this little stencil with the transfer combo and this one. Let's have a look at what else I've got. Now I started a project the other day on the similar size board, and I started this fresh cut sign from the stencil set that I'm using today. So let's just finish that. You know, no good starting a project and not finishing it. So here is what I used. So this was the stencil, fresh cut, and it's fresh cut sunflowers. But what I did find, now some of you may have this set of transfers already. I found this in the hydrangea set. So if you've already got the spring bundle with the transfers in it, let me know if you've got this one. So I'm going to use that. Instead of the sunflowers at the bottom, I'm going to just add this hydrangea transfer to underneath here. Now these, on the Essential Stencil website, I believe they've got coming soon on these ones. They're still shipping out the pre-orders from all of the spring bundles, but I believe they will have them soon. There might even be a spot there if you want these reserved for you. You can go to the hydrangea transfer set, let them know that you would like to know or be notified when that one's coming in. So it's the fresh cut sunflowers. stencil from the same mini pack, and the links are all there at the top, pinned to the top comment for all of the stencils. These are the hydrangea transfers. I just love these little bowl it's in. Did we come up with some other ideas? I didn't stop to look at what the other, I had asked earlier, what sort of surfaces has everyone else been putting their transfers onto? Because I talked about we've done them on glass, we've done them on fabric, we've done them on boards, painted and non-painted boards. So I can't remember. I didn't remember to look at your comments. Yeah, the lavender transfers are beautiful, aren't they, Becky? Yes, it's such a great fun idea to mix and match. So we've just got fresh cut across the top. I'm going to see if that's stuck now. So I'm just going to lift up that top clear plastic backing and making sure that none of it has stuck to the plastic backing, that it's all laying down on my painted board. So let's see. So far so good. You sort of see it sometimes just peeling up a little bit, but once you remove this backing, you know, just kind of go back and forth a little bit, make sure it's all rubbed down firmly. And you want to, sometimes those little edges or those little leaves that are, here's one, stuck to the plastic, just lay it back down and make sure it's stuck really well. Oh, Kay says you get framed pictures from Hobby Lobby when they're on clearance and some of the better quality surfaces. Yeah, that's a good idea. Some of those frames, actually with the larger frame edges, can work well for transfers and things. But yeah, making images to go inside them, or stenciled images. I'm not sure if that's what you might have been talking about, but I think it's a great idea. All right, so there is a beautiful hydrangea with fresh cut on the top. That would look cute on the table. Not sure what I want to do with these edges here that are just wood edges. Any ideas? Should I paint them? I kind of don't want to paint them the same color. Like this one I could paint with that mustardy color on there. Let's try one more stencil, because I have got another paper bag that I did earlier and I painted this one with a bright yellow. See, I thought that I could do the bright yellow on the sunflowers there to make them stand out a bit. What have we got here? We've got fresh cut sunflowers. I just used that. There are 6 in this set. Which one should I do? We've got the home. This would make a great housewarming gift if you put the word home on there. That's cute. That would make a great housewarming gift bag. So I'll pop that in the side there, and look, let's just use those same tapes that I prepared earlier so that it doesn't, I'm just trying to make sure that we get it all on the bag. It's fairly centered. And I might go over this bag where I did the navy color, and we can use that to do the, trying to place these things all down here. Do that bright yellow over the sunflowers there. I know, Colleen says, tons of fun with that little set of 6. Absolutely. All right, so because we've done a bright yellow background, we're going to need a darker color to go over the words home. So you could use that mustard. That would be a little bit of a transition on that. But what about if I just used that navy blue on the yellow? I think that would just pop beautifully. A navy blue sunflower, okay, maybe some people wouldn't, but I think it'll still look great. So here's some ideas for gift bags. Make a housewarming gift for somebody, or you are my sunshine, just for somebody that you love and you just want to tell them hello. Hi Fran, how are you? Yes, Mary, I think navy would be pretty too. So we're going to go with it. Okay, so again, just holding that down quite firmly. So this letter H, oops, not enough on the brush. I just used the same brush that I had earlier. Otherwise, I probably would use maybe a thinner brush, but it really doesn't matter because I'm going to use that and go pouncing until I've got it a little bit drier. Sometimes you really do. Practice, practice, practice makes perfect. Absolutely, because you get to kind of get in the groove of what you find is easiest for you to do. Let's do the M down here. And this is the colour Midnight Blue. Someone said you make it, Jill says you make it look easy. You do need to practice. I've been doing this for years now, and probably hundreds and hundreds of stencils. So don't be hard on yourself. Just practice on a piece of cardboard first. And you know, paper gift bags are quite inexpensive and an easy way to practice. Maybe this could be like your second practice. You know, you practice on cardboard if you really mess up. And then if you think you've got it, do a gift bag, because, you know, in your practicing, it might just turn out perfect. And then you've got a gift bag. You haven't wasted your practice. Just being careful. Some of the stencils go close to the edges, so you want to have enough room around the edge to make sure you're not going to go over the edge and make a line on your stencil. All right, let's do this blue, navy blue sunflower. Coming up in March, I'm super excited. Here in Australia, there's a town not far, well, it's about an hour away from where I live. And I've never been there before, but they've just started in the last couple of years doing a sunflower festival, and I can't wait to go. I'm going with my girls and a couple of girlfriends, and the sunflowers are about to bloom, so that is coming up in a couple of weekends, and I can't wait. I just love sunflowers. So look out. If you're on my Instagram page, I will, my blog name is called I Restore Stuff. So the same as my code, if you just put @I Restore Stuff, that's where you'll find me on Instagram, on Facebook, and all of the different social media pages that you can think of that you might be on. You'll find me there. So look out for those sunflower photos coming up early March, because I can't wait to go. Oh yes, someone just, who's that, Gloria? Just realised you can use that stencil to paint the word me. You can. There you go. You can actually use a lot of the stencils, especially the word stencils. Sometimes I'll find, which is kind of how I do this one, is find a lot of words that have similar letters in them. You can make up your own words. See, that navy really pops on that bag there, that gift bag. So that looks cute as well. So there we go. We've got a few different projects on the go today, and I'm just going to go over that other one, and let's make that You Are My Sunshine. We'll just make that brighter yellow, because I like the idea that it does stand out, but I want that yellow to look brighter. But we could just do sections of it. Let's have a look. I've got a white, so I had this that I used earlier. We want to put it exactly, oh, you know what? I could shadow some things. Maybe I'll shadow the sunflowers. So if I just lift it slightly, put it slightly across so that's not perfectly in line, but it's around about, you know, up at a 45-degree angle maybe. It doesn't have to be exact. I could create a bit of a shadow here, shadow effect. Now, if you haven't seen some of the shadowing techniques, this is probably not an exact perfect example of one today, because it really does look great when you're doing it with words. And but if you go here on the Essential Stencil page up to the video section, the video tab, when we finish the live, just go to the Essential Stencil Facebook page, head to the video tab across the top, and find the stencil playlist that's on shadowing. You'll find a number of them there. Okay, so we're offloading our brush again. This is the brighter yellow, so hopefully we'll... Arlene says this paper bag stenciling is a great idea. It's lots of fun, isn't it? Okay, so I'm not going to tape off different areas, but I'm just going to do the sunflower here, and if it goes off into the side of, you know, the leaves, then so be it. I'm not worried. So this is what I'm going to do, just a wriggle, wriggle, wriggle around the sunflower. and you may not be able to see it just yet, but I'll lift it up closer so you can see the shadow in a minute. So now we're going to do this one, and hopefully you'll be able to see a little mustard shadow line right around the bottom of the stencil, because what I did was I lifted the stencil slightly up and slightly across. It doesn't matter which way. Oop. I've gone slightly over to the M there, but that's okay. All right, let's see how that looks. They stand out, don't they? They stand out a lot. I feel like I need to do the whole thing that way. So let me see if I can bring it up close enough to where you can see a tiny little mustard shadow around the side of the sunflowers there. So you should be able to see a tiny little shadow because I slightly adjusted my stencil so that you could see that pop in behind. There we go. You know, you could just brighten up a bunch of things in there. I think, oh look, I want to keep going. I'm just going to do the word sunshine because that seems to me like that's the main message we want to get across here. Sunshine. Which way did I go? Across and up. Let's just do that little bit extra. And like I said, practice first. This is my practice. So if it doesn't work out, I'm not too concerned. The paper bag is probably, I don't know, not even $1. All right. Just going down here, pressing down. Remember, we've got some lumps and bumps under the paper bag because of the shape of it, the way they've made it. It's got all the bits and pieces there. So I'm going to wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. I'm going to come out with a nice shadow. Don't forget, if you're needing any of these stencils, all the transfers today, the sunflower transfers, the links are right there in the description of the live. Also pinned comments to the top here. Wriggling around, and see how I could use that whole brush worth to get right to the end of the ear and just do that swirling method because I've got a pretty super bright dry brush. Now I did do a bit of a shadow on this one, so I've shifted it slightly from the original mustard colour stencil, and let me pop that away. See how that turned out. There we go. You can see that slightly shadowed word sunshine. May not be able to see it too close up, but you can see a slight mustard line on the outline of the letters there. It's on the finger side of the E. That's your left, my right? No, your right, my left. I'm confused. All right, guys, that is all our project today. So I am going to be looking for some winners today on our stenciling live. Don't forget that if you are watching the replay and if you want to comment the word replay, in the 24 hours after our live has finished, Essential Stencil will choose another winner. So but stay tuned right now because we're going to be picking winners from the comments. Look at that, little gift bags. Let me see if I can just pop those open. And don't forget, you can follow me over at irestorestuff.com is my blog or my website. I'm in Australia, but I love to hang out here on the Essential Stencil page every week, and they love to give away prizes to everyone every week. Here's my code, or it's up on the screen above there if you missed it. I Restore Stuff will save you 10% at Essential Stencils store. And here we go. Let me see if I can pop that down just slightly so we can see what the projects we've worked on today. So if you did miss the beginning of the live, just go hit the replay again, and then while you're there, comment the word replay for another chance of winning a prize. So we've used a mixture of sunflower transfers and a stencil mini set. There's another transfer there, and we've done our gift bags here. There's the word home. Oh, thank you guys so much for all the love. Thank you for the comments, thank you for the love, and thank you for sharing our live. We really appreciate it. And I'll see you again next week for another fun DIY live. Bye.